podcast. Today is October 20th, 2024, and we're here to talk to you about Missouri politics, national politics, and how you can get out there and vote and bring all your friends and family with you while we still can. I'm Lisa.
I'm Tina.
I'm going to crack open a beverage here, Tina.
Let's hear it. That was a crispy boy.
This Topo Chico tangerine. It's delicious. I think I just made an ad and I didn't mean to.
Yeah, you did.
Oh man, it's just like fizzy water.
We're not even sponsoring.
We're not.
But if they would have sent us
what's
some
going on? Got some pretty weather out there.
It is
Fall,
very nice.
Crisp.
I know.
Yes.
It's so crisp. Like that crispy boy. Well, Missouri is an embarrassment again, which
Yet again?
Isn't even
It can't go on forever.
Again. Well, it can't because Andrew Faley, he is not, he is very tenacious. I'll give him, he does not give up easy. But I guess when you lose so much, you have to, really stick with it.
Maybe, ironically, that's what he's good at, is losing. So he just keeps going. Okay, what's he done this time? This is a particularly harsh embarrassment.
So Missouri's Attorney General co-files new lawsuit to restrict access to abortion pill. And this is from, let me see the article here, KSDK. So a Missouri, one of those you get on the regular channels. Missouri files suit to limit access to Mifepristone. So we're still on that. Missouri's Attorney General is at the center of a move that could impact access to reproductive care in Missouri and across the nation. Last Friday, Andrew Bailey joined AGs in Kansas and Idaho in the fight to roll back access to abortion medication Mifepristone across the country by filing a lawsuit against the FDA. So I guess, last summer they tried to do this. There was a Texas Fifth Circuit. That guy down in Texas made it illegal to get Mifepristone, and then it got overturned. But it got overturned by the Supreme Court for lack of standing. So what they're doing is they're rewriting it in a way that it will have standing, so they can redo it. So
okay, and just to review real quick.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Mifepristone, just to review for anybody that's not sure what that is. It's a very safe, been used for a long time medication that helps anybody that needs their uterus evacuated. So it's not just for elective abortions. Like if a person's having a miscarriage and part of the tissue that, didn't come out needs to be evacuated, Mifepristone. It's got a lot of uses besides just like someone that's trying to have an elective abortion. Anyway, please carry on.
And so it prevents a woman from having to get it sucked out. Like suctioned out, because that's what they do if the Mifepristone doesn't work. Because if you leave it in there, it will get infected and your body will go septic and you will either bleed out or die of an infection. And
that's what, people hear of a D&C. Oh, a person had a D&C. That is like when the lining gets scraped out, right? Which, if it sounds kind of makes you queasy, well, I'm sorry, but that's what the world we live in. So, sometimes the medication fails, but it's, that's the exception and not the rule. So anyway, it's a long-standing safe medication. No, not a big deal.
Right. So basically this filing wanted to prevent the medication from being mailed to pregnant women, make it illegal for minors to receive Mifepristone entirely. Patients wouldn't be able to use the drug after 7 weeks of pregnancy instead of 10, which is currently what it's used for. And then a patient would have to have 3 in-person visits with a doctor instead of none. So literally making it impossible to get for a large swath of people. Yeah, that's stop. But so basically we're going to vote on this Amendment 3, and he's trying to push this through as well. So it's just, and then he's up for election. So imagine if we pass Amendment 3 and then elect him. Do you think he will respect what Missourians vote for? No, he won't. I can tell you right now. There is no way. So keep that in mind.
Also, can you go into more about what one of the reasons he used that Missouri as a state should have standing to prevent this Mifepristone use?
Yes. So I'm reading this straight off the lawsuit here. So This is how he's caught, or he's giving standing, like how it's harming, which is what the Supreme Court told him he had to do.
Hmm.
Defendants' efforts enabling the remote dispensing of abortion drugs has caused abortions for women in plaintiff states and decreased births in plaintiff states. This is a sovereign injury to the state itself. So not having a baby is a sovereign injury, apparently, to Andrew Bailey, because that's all we're good for is breeding.
So it sounds like that statement you just read and then some other information from that same document, it sounds like they are accusing pregnant women who want to end their pregnancies of depriving citizens to Missouri. Is that accurate?
Yes. And so here is another little snippet from this lawsuit. Okay. And this is kind of like their what's the word? Reasoning. I'll think of the word later. Okay. So in Missouri, state laws result in an average increase in driving distance of 2.2 miles for an in-person out-of-state dispensing of abortion drugs, compared to a 453-mile increase in Texas, illustrating that states with the greatest increases in driving distance also tend to have the greatest estimated increase in births. So the harder it is for you to get medication that you need for your body, the more babies are born, like in Texas. So they're using the data that they got from Texas, where the women have to drive 453 miles to go get this medication, as opposed to the 2.2 miles to the post office to get their medication. I mean, he's saying it in here that legit, like, we're just going to make this ridiculously hard to get because you owe the state babies, right?
Yeah, that's what it says. So, I mean, I can't imagine anybody that reads this and isn't outraged is maybe not understanding what they're saying. They're saying that it doesn't matter what you want to do with your life, what your goals are, the timing that's proper for your life is, that if you wind up pregnant, you owe the state of Missouri a kid.
Yeah.
Period.
Decreasing birth rates.
And they're going to do everything they can to make sure you deliver that kid.
Yes. So basically giving women access to abortion pills decreases the birth rates and is a sovereign injury to the state of Missouri.
And it also says in there that especially teenagers, so that they're basically, what they're saying is that they are proponents of teen pregnancy because it increases birth rates in Missouri. I mean, my God, do they know how hard it is to be a teen mother? I mean, I'm all for, teen mothers need the support, all the support they can get. And, if they choose to go that route, then, we should support them and help them, have a great life and great lives for their babies and their children. But if you don't want to be a teen mother, the state is giving them nothing
to help
I know,
them.
that's a whole nother talk, right?
Besides demonizing.
But probably the better place to be is to prevent a person from becoming a teen mother if they don't want to be. Yep. So this is insane.
He wants you to drive 453 miles to go get your abortion. Don't act like women would not fucking do that, but the women that are impoverished anyways. That's who, it's just perpetuating the cycle of poverty.
Right. And once again, if you've got access to money, if you've got access to cash and transportation, and you can take time off work to go do these things, you're going to be just fine. But, maybe we ought to care about some folks that can't do that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to think like them because empathy doesn't exist for them. But
I can't do it. I can't even let my brain go there. Okay, so we'll keep you guys updated on how that goes, but it probably won't be for a little while, so hopefully we don't have a civil war by then. So what's up with the polls?
Well, they're looking surprisingly positive for Donald Trump, even though they probably shouldn't. So what's going on with that? Why do you suppose we're seeing positive polls for this guy?
Well, so there's this guy, Elon Musk, we all know him, even though we don't want to. Well, he's trying to buy an election, and then we have all these rich guys in the United States, not all these rich guys, but a select few billionaires that are basically
Peter Thiel.
Well, Peter Thiel owns a It's called Polymarket, which is one of the big polling companies that puts out information on these polls. And basically, if they put money into it to make it look like Donald Trump is winning, then when he loses, a bunch of people will be like, how did he lose? He was ahead in these polls. So that's more of a election interference type argument. And also it's to kind of make Democrats feel like, what's the point? I think they're hoping from that angle that it will make people feel apathetic. Like, why even vote? Why even care? I'm going to lose. Whatever. So you have those things going on. So then, sowing already the seeds of distrust about the election before it even fucking happened. But if he won, he'd be like, oh yeah, they were great. Best election. Most secure.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think it's important to know also that Polymarket is, as far as I know, it's banned in the United States. Like, this is not something that has been proven to be straightforward and on the up and up. So, yeah. So like you say, the more they, this is the thing that I think, yeah, like you say, they're trying to create an expectation with these fake polls so that when they lose, there's a lot of people that are like, what? There's no way this could be the result because you told us he was so far ahead, and they're going to protest and get violent and do all the things they did before January 6th. So it's just important to know where your information's coming from.
And remind people who Peter Thiel is.
Yeah.
He really put a bunch of money behind Heritage Foundation, and
I think he believes in Peter Thiel being a billionaire and in control of everything. Just utter power.
But he's gay, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he is actually a conservative libertarian. Oh God, I hate libertarian. Okay. Ooh, he has put a lot of money into Josh Hawley. I did not know that. What a turd. Okay, so he's a billionaire that's trying to basically lobby to get his taxes down so he can rule things.
Yeah, and he may have some religious stances that, coincide or line up with this, but...
He's the PayPal guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he and Elon Musk have been, traveling in the same circles for decades, They're not strangers to each other.
Well, Peter Thiel, he's a loser, a rich loser. He's also gay. But but he owns a poll company, and he is trying to sway the election in certain ways. And a lot of the money that's being poured into it is crypto money. So that's always shady. What else? So don't freak out about the polls is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't freak out about the polls.
Tend to.
Just keep your eye on the ball here. Make sure people go vote. Do what you can.
Judge Chutkan's courtroom is getting kind of spicy. She unsealed 4 volumes of documents that were in the January 6th Jack Smith case. So if anybody wants to read through a lot of exhibits. But it's basically everything we already knew, except deeper and deeper and deeper, and more people involved, and more evidence that, yes, he totally meant for all of this to happen.
On January 6th. Yeah.
January 6th. But one of the most interesting things that I read in there was there were $3 million spent by the campaign and people involved to get people to the rally that preceded the attack on the Capitol building. So there's all these different little PACs that got a couple $100,000 a piece. I'm sure Jenny Thomas is fucking in there somewhere. Shady bitch. But yeah, so $3 million to bus insurrectionists in. Then they get fucking arrested. And then he just lets them chill. They're okay, we're going to bust you in. You're going to riot. And then he's like, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean for any of this to happen.
Yeah. And, this is so the last 2 things we've spoken about, Peter Thiel trying to buy an election, Elon Musk trying to buy an election, using money to arrange to bring people to Washington, D.C. to, protest on January 6th. All this money, it's the money. It's the ability to use the money to sway the political process at this level what we have to do moving forward, if we want our voices to count when we don't have a gazillion dollars, is we've got to make it so it's illegal to do this. It's illegal to hide behind a PAC so that you can put, millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars into a PAC, and then they can do with the PAC what they want, and they're not able to trace the money to you. That's got to change. Until that happens, we're going to be in the same boat. And I got to say, right now, it feels like, the Republicans are the ones that have been hijacked for this purpose. But it could just as easily happen to the Democratic Party. You know what I mean? Like in the future, or people with, give me a second to think of the right word, people with untoward goals, untoward purposes could hijack the party and take over more like liberal thinking for the same purpose of their own power. Does that make sense? So
corruption.
To prevent any of that from to prevent any of that from happening, we've got to change these laws.
There needs to be guardrails, and they need, if they are broken, that's what we're seeing right now is justice not happening because guardrails are being broken down. And I can blame a lot of people for this. I know the wheels of justice are extremely slow, and that's not how I work. But, if I was being prosecuted for something, I would like the wheels of justice to, give me a chance as well. But these guys obviously are criming. But, a lot of the stuff they're doing, there is not a law for, like, because we haven't needed one. But now we're needing one. And that takes time. And you also have to have, for laws to be passed, you got to have your Congress and your Senate, so like if we don't have any of that, or we're railroaded like we are right now, nothing gets done. Yeah. So it's very hard to change.
It is, so but we can depressing. Do it. We, the people, have to elect our representatives that will actually do something about this problem. And that sure as hell ain't Andrew Bailey. And it sure as hell ain't Josh Hawley.
Well, so speaking of the tater tot, my mom he stopped his tour bus. He stopped flying now because people were getting mad about
so
that.
Now he has a luxury bus to ride around
rocket bus.
Yeah.
Looks like a fucking Wienermobile with his friend Harrison. But he stopped in Boonville the other day. And my mom fucking went wearing her very
She's a rock star
shirt with the uterus.
Yeah.
She sends me a selfie, and it's in like some diner. She's like, everybody's staring at me. I'm like, why did you wear that shirt? But I love it. I love it. And then they wouldn't let her talk to him. She was waiting.
What?
And he got on his bus real quick. They're like, no questions, especially from the lady in that shirt.
That's funny.
Oh, I wanted to talk about also, this is not very nice. I know that we talk about the diaper situation all the time, but no golden diapers this time. But he was on Fox the other day, and I've heard conflicting things, so you can fact check me if you want. But it looked like there was like a chuck under him while he was sitting there being interviewed.
For those of you
it was like
not in the medical community, a chuck is basically like an absorbent pad that you put down. So if a mess is made of whatever kind,
a doggy pad,
or anything that's going to be messy, put that thing down and it absorbs. It won't go through it. So I have to say, when I saw this image, without knowing anything else, I just saw the image like when it first came out. I was like, I wonder why he's sitting on a black cushion and no one else is. And then I thought, well, if he needed a cushion, I wonder why they didn't pick one that was more discreet. And then people started posting about it being like an incontinence pad, and I'm like, oh my God, wow.
But then I heard someone say that it was actually like his jacket. Like,
it's not his jacket.
I will link it. You guys can tell me if it's an incontinence pad versus his jacket. I'm just saying, if he's going to have one, it needs to be gold from now on, so supporters can match.
And I don't care if a person, like, I'm not here to shame incontinence, but if the guy that's running to be the leader of the free world is having a problem so significant that he can't go for 10 minutes on Fox News without,
sharding,
then, we should probably know that about his health situation before anybody votes for him.
Well, like, how bad is it that it's escaping the pants in that short amount of time? He must have left a skid mark somewhere. He did. Man.
That's crazy.
No one wants to sit on that spot anymore. Okay. It's got a little odor. He left behind a scent. Okay. Ugh. Do we want to talk about Tucker and Jordan Peterson?
Absolutely.
Fuck.
This is important because we were just talking about big money influencing people, influencing elections and everything. And so we know that Jordan Peterson, I mean, I feel like he's one of those individuals that initially had a message that contained,
I liked him.
It contains some good information, like, anyway, we won't go into that.
He was a philosophy professor.
Yeah. And then over the years, it has just evolved to the point of like being cartoonish, pills. Right? Yeah. And a lot of young guys listen to him, right? So what's come up about Jordan?
Well, so remember a couple years ago, didn't he have some benzodiazepine issues? But he went to Moscow.
I know it's safe to say he had some health troubles. That's for sure.
Yes.
I don't know exactly what.
He had some addiction issue. And it's a thing. And like he went and he got help, but he went to Moscow to go to rehab, which isn't like my first, pick for a place. But that was weird. But basically it's come out Justin Trudeau, which is the prime minister in Canada, was under oath testifying. And he alleged that Tucker Carlson and Jordan Peterson are in cahoots basically with Russia. And
okay, so in cahoots would mean that they pay him to discuss certain things or, bring up things on their shows or disseminate information that they want disseminated. Fair?
Correct. And a couple episodes ago, we talked about that indictment from the DOJ for that Russian television network, that it was the shell company that they had over here, and they were paying the talking heads like Tim Pool, blah, 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 all them turds. Your doppelganger if you were wearing your hat. That was so cute. We got to have a Tim Pool episode. Sorry, I had to.
I love it.
So Justin Trudeau is saying under oath that Tucker Carlson and Jordan Peterson are also being funded by Russian TV.
Well, I mean, he would know. He is the leader of a big country and a neighbor of the United States, and he would have that information.
Under oath, he said this, and I'm going to link it.
Canada's Freedom Convoy has perfectly exposed legacy media's conceited bias.
Trudeau is not up to the job, or MEP accuses Canada of human rights violation. Donc, le convoi de la liberté est terminé depuis longtemps, mais
the Freedom Convoy is over, but these messages are still being sent nowadays. Answer: yes. We have seen that anti-vax messages during the convoy and during the pandemic were amplified by Russian propaganda, especially in the media of the right, and it was continued by messages. The people who were sharing anti-vax messages, it doesn't mean that there weren't people who were legitimately anti-vax, but that was hugely amplified by Russian propaganda. And once Ukraine was invaded, we saw a lot of those channels become pro-Putin propaganda channels. And as I said, we've recently seen that RT is currently funding bloggers and other YouTube personalities at the right, such as Jordan Peterson, other names that are well known, and Tucker Carlson as well, in order to amplify messages.
And you know what that makes me think of? And this is totally off the cuff, so it's an undeveloped thought. But if he knows that, obviously the United States of America intelligence services knows that too. And can you imagine the restraint that it has taken for people in charge in the United States that know what a piece of shit Donald Trump is, and J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and all these guys that are trying to get Trump elected for their own ambitions?
What even?
They know what's going on, and they haven't said anything about it, because they're afraid they'll sway the election.
Right. It's think about what I'm saying here. So my brain is always like, what what are these men? You know, I understand the money part. I understand them, the fear or whatever, but down at the core of the Trumpian whatever, he's their strong man. I understand that. But I'm like, what is he going to do for you?
Okay, well,
And
I can answer that question.
Okay, go ahead. Answer it.
Were you going to say you finally figured it out?
Well, I did. Yes.
Okay, let me say what I think, and we'll see if you agree.
You say what you... Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I think that they all detest Donald Trump. I think they think he's a moron. He is a narcissist guy. He's a crook. He's a con man. They don't give a shit about what he is. All they care is they can use him to get elected. And then when he is elected, they will use his position. So I would venture to say that if Donald Trump gets elected, God help us all, that within a few months, either he's going to be deemed, unable to perform the duties of the president, and he gets cast aside. They either have him assassinated, which I'm talking hypotheticals here. I don't know anything, or he actually just dies because he's in terrible shape. But I think within the first year of him being elected president, he will no longer be president. It'll be J.D. Vance, and that's what they want. They don't care about him.
It's 25th Amendment. Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah, or they could do that. Yeah, or have him deemed unable to.
I feel like that'll happen within a week after that Chuck time.
Yeah, we'll be lucky to get through the inauguration.
Yes. Well,
and then, now that the Supreme Court. Okay, the Supreme Court said that anything that's done in an official capacity in the White House is now immune. So Elon Musk now is 1 degree from doing anything that he wants through J.D. Vance if he's in the White House. And they're all immune. He is immune.
And so yes, that is their plan. But what I figured out was it's not about what he's going to do for them. It's how he is going to be towards the people they don't like. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like,
sure.
Like their hatred for others or difference or anything that they don't like.
Right.
They know that he will demonize it, and it's just like how, racist didn't go away. They just hid. And then they come back out of the woodwork when strong man tells them it's okay. And so I just had that kind of realization, and it made me kind of gag. So I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah. So really we should be talking about what a piece of shit J.D. Vance is, because Trump's irrelevant.
Yes. On a positive note, I did want to say Joe Biden won the highest award that you can win in Germany.
Oh, wow.
And I know. And I thought that was skipped over. And I just wanted to give him a little props for that. My little cutie peepaw Biden.
Yeah, that's the first. When you mentioned this, that was first I'd heard of it. What do you have in front of you what the award is called?
Okay, Biden awarded Germany's highest honor during Berlin visit. The Grand Cross of the Order of Merit is what it's called.
The Grand Cross of the Order of Merit. Okay.
Yes, and so a special class reserved for heads of state for decades-long dedication to the transatlantic alliance, your outstanding political leadership in Europe's most dangerous moment, and your lasting moral example of service, sincerity, and decency. Oh, I fucking love that. God, wholesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're kind of in that same moment here.
Is that what we want to be known for? Because that's what I would like to be known for. That's what I actually strive to do in my life every day, is to exude those qualities. And so I think that's cool. I thought maybe we could wrap up with, I have this lovely list of 200 reasons to vote against Donald Trump. And I thought that I could read maybe the first 5.
Sounds good.
Number 1. Trump incited a deadly assault on the Capitol on January 6, 2021. It's still crazy. I can still remember seeing it pop up on the TV, watching it, feeling helpless as fuck. Okay. Number 2. Yeah. His extremist justices took away women's right to control their own bodies. I'm still also pissed about that. 3. Yep. He wants huge tariffs, which are essentially a tax on American consumers. He ain't gonna make things cheaper, y'all. Okay? He's not. He doesn't even know what the fucking tariff is.
Go down. He doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also like his asylum when the people come over and
Yeah. The
want
guy's a moron.
asylum. He thinks that they're going to like a mental institution. I'm not kidding, because he needs to go. It's the first thing on his mind. Okay, number 4. He stole top secrets and left them in a Mar-a-Lago bathroom. Maybe he forgets his phone. He needs some reading material.
I'm sure that history will tell us over the next 50 years, they'll find out who he sold this stuff to. Because, it's not, he's a transactional person. If he has a way to profit off something, he's going to do it. So it'll be interesting to see how much he made off this.
He's selling Bibles. Okay. Number 5. He bragged about grabbing the private parts of women he just met. So those were the top 5 things on the list that I thought we should just brush up on.
Yep. I feel like those are no secret.
Okay, how many days? How many days do we got until the election?
Let me find out. Hang on. 16 days to go.
Holy shit.
Did you vote yet?
I have not voted yet. I need to go vote early.
Okay, I voted Friday, so I got it taken care of.
At the hospital? Or you just did it?
No, I went down to the government center building, and
I'll do that on Tuesday. I'll do it on Tuesday.
Yeah, you may have to tell them, let's see, I think no excuse voting starts soon, but I was out of that window, so I voted under the reason that I'm a healthcare worker. So, because, stuff comes up and sometimes we can't vote on election day, so. Yeah.
And I'll crawl over shards of glass.
Absolutely, you will.
Yes, I will.
16 days. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I know. Whew. I know. Civil war or not, actually, I think that's inevitable, but...
And I just want to say that, no matter what happens in this election, I think you and I plan to continue to show up here and talk about things because we really enjoy it. It's been, as you guys that are listening know...
cathartic.
It's cathartic for us. We don't make any money on it. We've actually, spent a fair amount of money trying to get it all sent up and buy magnets and hats and stuff like that. And, it's really not cheap. This whole Riverside, that's not super cheap. And just the website, all the costs associated with that. So we've got ourselves an expensive little hobby. And so, lots of time. And someday we may have to try to figure out how to monetize a little bit to offset some of these costs. But for right now, that's the last thing on our mind. We're just trying to do something good.
Hey, it's cheaper than therapy.
Fun process. It sure is. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up for today. We'll be back. Maybe we'll record again on Tuesday or so.
Bye.
Bye.